So this is day 2 of creation. So we wrapped up day 1 right here in this color. So day 2 is in green. Day 2, as you can already see, is the firmament. Now we're going to begin to see a lot of contradictions between, I'm just going to come out and say it, NASA and reality. So again, just because people have a belief doesn't mean that that belief is true. I don't give a shit how strong the belief is. You must make sure your belief is actually true. So it says, and God said, oh, King James said this. Let there be a what? In the midst of the waters. That is key. This wordage, firmament, in the midst of the waters, right? It's going to be like a dual thing. So we're going to see. And let it divide the waters from the water. So we're going to have a division of 2 types of waters. It's very simple. That first sentence, verse 6, says a lot. We're going to divide the waters, and it's going to be what's going to divide it is this firmament. How simple is this? This is inner space. But what does NASA teach? Outer space. This is inner space right here. Very simple. Then it elaborates. It says, and King James, and God made a firmament and divided the waters which were under the firmament and from the waters which were above the firmament. So this division is not east side, west side. It's top and bottom. It's inner space. Waters above, waters below. This firmament is inner space. How simple is this? And it was so, because again, this is said. We learned that from day 1. It was so because it was said so, because God means power. Allah, Allahayim, Elohim, however you want to pronounce it. Okay, these 7 holy angels. So, and God called the firmament, here we go, and the evening and the morning were the second day. It speaks for itself, but there is always precepts to get that further understanding. So how do I want to do this? I want to, because I said something yesterday. I showed something yesterday in Isaiah. So I want to kind of piggyback off of that. So we're going to go to one of my favorite books, Daniel. So here we are, Daniel 12:3, and it says, and they that be wise, this is a key word, shall what? Wisdom is shining. Remember that shining we was talking about in day 1? And it's bright. There's nothing to do with physical light. We see it's talking about damn wisdom, right? This is just a follow-up from day 1, because it connects to the firmament. As you see, the brightness of the firmament, because the firmament is called heaven. And they that turn, well, let me finish. Turn many to righteousness. That's the key. There's that right. We saw this in Isaiah, how that light, being a light to the Gentiles, was equated to righteousness. I didn't say it, and that's what I focus on, is thus saith the Lord, as it is written. I'm not saying a damn thing. Yeah. And it's talking about as the stars, talking about this righteousness and this brightness. Stars are bright, the sun is bright, the moon is bright sometimes. So this is very simple. This it piggybacks, because this heaven, this firmament is it's got that day 1 light in connection with it, even though the firmament is created day 2. The light has to exist first. This is how there's intelligence or wisdom in heaven. And we know that in Sirach, we're going to end up in Sirach, but Sirach defines wisdom right here. It defines it as keeping the commandments. That's how you have the correlation between wisdom, commandments, and heaven. Let me show that. So right here, I got this highlighted from the last time I did something. I don't remember, but Psalms 1:19, talking about wisdom and in the feminine capacity, because you got to submit to get it. You got to listen. You got to be taught. That submission, right? So right here in verse 26, Sirach 1:26, it says, if you desire wisdom, again, wisdom is wisdom. We just saw this in Daniel, the firmament shining. If you want to shine, I know be on that bling bling bullshit and all that, material nonsense, but if you want to shine and have that wisdom, how simple is that? Keep the commandments, and the Lord shall give her the wisdom. That's why I showed you verse 19, unto you. Essentially heaven. The churches teach the bullshit that the commandments is done away with. The fear of the Lord is wisdom. So, but okay, that's enough for that though. But again, so let's go back to Genesis. I want to show something else. I want to focus in on this too. So this firmament is called heaven because it says so. Because we see that there's commandments in connection with obtaining this heaven. We know the commandments were given to a specific nation of people. We know this. It wasn't that you be a bold-faced liar to say and teach that the commandments apply to everybody. They don't. Okay, so now these people actually were supposed to inherit the kingdom, and the kingdom is not for or intended to be for everybody's benefit. There's a hierarchy in heaven, whether you want to believe it or not. This is biblical. Look in the book of Revelation chapter 21. But again, it's written in there. You don't have to like it, but it's as it is written. So I mean, take that shit up with God. So in verse 7, we see that God made the firmament and he divided the waters. We're going to touch on this division of waters and how the division of waters also applies to people, because people in heaven go together. I'm going to say that one more time. People in heaven go together. Now, this is going to be fun. So he divided the waters which were under the firmament and the waters which were above the firmament. So there's waters above and there's waters below. One more time. Because, there's waters above this firmament heaven, and then there's waters below this firmament heaven. Let's get some understanding. So here we are in the book of Revelation, and all we're doing is reading. If you don't like it, it's just don't say something's wrong just because you don't like the shit. I hate when people do that ignorant bull. Anyway, it's like, grow up. But I mean, if it say what it say, that's just what it say. You can't, if somebody's reading verbatim, you can't say it's an interpretation, because how am I interpreting something reading it verbatim? That's how dumb people are though. You can literally see like the carrot is orange. Nah, nigga, you interpreted that shit. That carrot purple, nigga. It just, niggas is dumb. But anyway, so where am I? 17 and 15. He said unto me, the waters, because we're talking about the firmament and the waters above and below. We're day 2, creation. The waters which you saw where the horse sits are what? And what? And what? And tongues. So water is equated to also people. Again, cut the firmament is in connectionship with heaven. It's dividing water from water. Is everybody going to inherit heaven, the kingdom of heaven? No. That's in the same book that we're in. A few chapters later, we see who was dedicated for it. That Feast of Dedication. Imagine that. You have a book called Numbers. It's numbering people. What would be the point of Numbers if it's just everybody? It would be just, it's stupid. It's flat out stupid. So, waters is equated to as people in different, basically, sizes and languages. Different sizes of people and language. You see, don't say I'm interpreting anything, because it's just your emotions, and I don't care how people feel. So, how is this important? How is this dealing with the firmament? Let's see. So here we are, Jeremiah 51 and 16. I did not write this book, neither did King James. We're dealing with day 2 creation, the firmament, waters separating from the waters. And it says right here, when he utters his voice, remember that same voice that we saw in day 1, that thing that's creating this, the first creation is his voice, and the voice then, you see what I'm saying, made it happen. He uttered his voice. There is a multitude of waters. Didn't we just see that in Revelation? But I'm making this up. I'm interpreting something, right? You got a multitude of waters in the heavens. Did we not see that the heavens is the firmament? You can't make this up, right? He causes the vapors to ascend from the ends of the earth. Why am I showing vapors ascending? But what are we dealing with? Day 2, the firmament, and what's being separated? From the what? So, if I'm separating waters from waters, when vapor ascends, is that not water? But we have water. We use the term evaporation, right? But you have water separating from waters below. That's how it is as it's describing people. People will ascend while some people will stay at the goddamn bottom. Some people will have that light and some people will reject that damn light. The ones that reject that light, are they going to be in this firmament? No, they're going to be, you see, even when we dealt with this yesterday with day 1 in Isaiah, with that light, it said to raise up the tribes of Jacob. This vapor is ascending, but Jacob is the people, the Israelites. And through keeping the commandments is wisdom. You see all these connections? Wicked, like, I'm gonna just be like on it, like wicked Jakes, wicked Israelites. That's what I'm saying. Like, there's a spiritual Israel, which is righteous Israelites, and then there's just Israelite. You just an Israelite because you descend from a man. You did nothing but just be born and run your big fat mouth and shoot your own people in the street and sell your ass in the street and online now. You know, they just digital hoes now. And that's the difference. You got people that are functioning members. Everybody don't get a trophy. I know here in the West, the water boy get a trophy. The water boy could be MVP just because it feels good. But in reality, everybody don't get a trophy. Some people are going to ascend like water vapor, and other waters is just gonna stay where they at. That's where it applies to the kingdom. I'm telling you, these prophets they used nature around them, and it's insane how, like, you see the intelligence in it when you use the precepts. Now I want to touch on something else. This is going to be fun. 1 Thessalonians. Now, Christians love the so-called New Testament, and they despise the Old Testament, especially the law. So but you need the law in order to inherit. So the commandments, 4:17. Let's start at 16. For the Lord, for King James himself shall descend. Nah, it's insane. People that dumb. So for the Lord himself shall descend from heaven with a shout, and the voice of the archangel with the trump of God, and the dead in Christ shall what? Rise first. See how this connects with vapor and the waters below, water being people. In this, it's like a double conversation going on, double context going on, rather. It's like niggas that's in the hood that just will never get it. They will never get it. They gonna die. They gonna die by the gun. Versus somebody that's separate. I got somebody in mind as an example. I don't want to put his name out on this, but I know somebody that was here in SoCal and he went to another. You probably know what I'm talking about. Went to another state, and the brother's blessed, about to get married. If there's no telling how life would have been if you'd stayed. Well, I ain't gonna say it's no telling shit. It's either one or two or three things, but your chances is slim to none staying where the dirt is instead of elevating from that dirt. That's where you, and one of the next ones we do in the next days is the grass being people as well, in an analogy. But it's that grass, it springs up, it's going north, it's ascending, but the dirt is just like everybody. That's another thing though. But in this case, we're dealing with the water separating from the waters. So the dead in Christ shall rise first. This is talking about Jacob because it connects back to Isaiah, where Jacob is going to rise. This is talking about Jacob rising first. It's talking about the dead in Christ, because the wages of sin is death. What is sin defined as? Sin is defined. Let me see if you remember. There we go. Sin is the transgression of the law, which religions reject the law. So how are you going to go to this heaven when heaven's connected to the commandments? That's wisdom. We covered that. You see that? So who's teaching wrong, the book or religion? So keeping it pushing. This is the punchline, verse 17. It says, then we which are alive, because, let me just finish it. Alive and remain shall be caught up together with them in the cloud. This word cloud, didn't we just see in Jeremiah this vapor, and it's ascending, and it's the waters. Waters is people. This is people being equated to as clouds because they've ascended. They're rising like vapor. That's what you do to get to heaven. This is spiritual ascension. When they say spiritual ascension, niggas be vague as shit. To get that, it's commandments. It's putting one foot in front of the other. It's not just talking a good game on Sunday morning. It has nothing to do with Sunday morning, actually, because that's going back to being the day. You know what I'm saying? But again, that's that cloud. Now there's people that's teaching that the spaceship doctrine, but that contradicts what the book is saying, that it's people rising. The cloud is the chariot, essentially, but to meet the Lord in the air. The air. It's not, first of all, it ain't magic. Because in church they teaching that this is some magical Greek mythology type shit. And it's like, nah, this is talking about keeping the commandments to get to heaven. Commandments is wisdom, contrary to not keeping. Some of them commandments is straight up dead, bro. Like, just like I just said, killing another brother. selling ass, playing the hoe. The things that we consider to be corny in this society is actually heavenly in the Most High society. Because a lot of the things that's against the, like, you see that in, like, the people that go to church, they like that's what they do.
I know one of the co-workers said the other day, she said, I'm not going to church. If I go to church, I'm gonna burn.
Yeah, that makes sense. that shit makes sense.
Anything, I just listened to it, and somebody was walking by and said, "You gonna burn?"
Oh, there's another they think church is like righteous. So in the flip side, I'm glad I caught that. It could be context is everything. I'm taking that as, well, yeah, because that's a bad place.
Yeah.
Whereas she thinks it's a good place in that she's just very bad, and maybe I don't know the person. I'm not gonna, but
I don't know that well neither, but every time somebody says something about church, she have a good comeback, which makes sense. Like, in other words, she's letting the person know, I'm not going to nobody's church.
Right, as she shouldn't. That's just like the video I made with this about something the idiot said. Say something about the millennial something churches or whatever, blah blah blah, Eucharist, that bullshit. I'm like, what does that have to do with the book? Like, you think people hear the word church, CHURCH, and they assume it has to do with this book, and you need to rightly divide. Well, is it the church of Satan? Is it this? Is it that? Like, church just means assembly. So this assembly that we're talking about is Israel. Jake, like real Israelites. I'm saying emphasis on real actual Israelites. More emphasis. Again, Israelites. It's not, you see what I'm saying? So from beginning to end, that's been the only assembly being severed, which is the term holy. But yeah, she's thinking maybe backwards, and it's like, well, nah, it just depends on how you look at it. Like, I'm just like, yeah, you don't want to go there.
She let me know if she want to live, she's staying out of the church.
She's got the right idea then. She's got the right idea.
She knows something. She just ain't come out with it yet.
Yeah, and I get it at the workplace. You don't want to tell the truth.
Yeah.
That's sad, but again, that's what it is. It is this space, the waters above, the water below, is literal, but at the same time, when it's applied to people, because people are bodies of water, we can either be above or below the firmament. That's where you get that from too, like hell is beneath. Yeah. It's a state. It's, heaven and hell is a state. So let's go back to Genesis and close out. So yeah, in wrapping up the second day, this firmament, this inner space, is waters above and waters below. That's why the sky is blue. That's why heaven, you wear the ribbon of blue on the four corners of your garment, as I quote the law. But that's what this is. You can volunteer to have your heaven be hell, because again, heaven and hell is a state. But I don't want to confuse. I just want to deal with the days of creation here. Waters above, waters below. You can go out 2 hours. What is that? 2 hours west of here, maybe an hour and a half, depending, and you see the waters below, Pacific Ocean.
Yeah.
And then you look up, it's no different. It's literally no different. This water, you have evidence that this is true, but people want to believe in NASA, which actually means to deceive. But that's another story. People, you got people that love being at the bottom and complaining about that shit because they think it gives them stripes. I'm struggling. Look at me. People be proud of that shit. But then you got people that's like, oh no, I'd rather be at the top. No, thank you. They know there's no Yeah. It's emotions versus intelligence. If you want your emotions to run your life, be comfortable at the bottom. Wisdom, the opposite of wisdom is keeping the commandments. Elevation, being water vapor, ascending up. Evaporation. So there's just two parallels to that. That's all I have for now, as it is written, and I'm out.